Okay, meanwhile, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin continue to work toward a stimulus deal. As time is running out to reach an agreement before Election Day, and Speaker Pelosi joins us now. Madam Speaker, thank you for being on. Give us a sense as to exactly where these talks stand and what the hope is to get relief to the American people.
I'm happy to do that, Mika, but I wanted first to go back to what Jon Meacham said, skipping over what you just showed. I don't think the president has any idea of what the truth is. I think that he thinks the truth is what he says. So it's a sad situation. But you go back with John said, and John said, how can 46% or whatever it is of the American people have thought that was okay for him to be president? Let's talk about how we heal as we go forward and be respectful of everyone in our country and how they voted. And John is always so inspirational. So I just wanted to say, I think the healing process has to begin well before the election. We've tried to start that, and Joe Biden is just the best person to do that. But here's the thing that's really sad. These people in our country, as I've traveled the country for years now, speaker, leader, and whatever, they've always respected the Constitution of the United States, whether they agree with you, Democrats, Republicans, different point of view. The Constitution was essential. Many of them took the oath to protect and defend it. And now all of a sudden, the total disregard that he has for the Constitution seems to be okay with them. That's sad. We have to bring people back to e pluribus unum from anyone they couldn't imagine how many we'd be or how different we'd be, but that we all had to. For us to, and I think in the press you could be helpful with this, let's not characterize them as not educated. They are educated. They're educated in winning our wars, raising our families, building our communities, and the rest. And I think that the respect that they are owed and the commitment that we share to the Constitution can be a place where we can come together. Now, there's some of them we will never get, and you know why. It's no use my going into that. But I do think that as we look at what this president might do to undermine the election, the Constitution, the election, the environment, fairness, who we are as a people, denigrating newcomers and the rest, has been so destructive. It's no use dwelling on that. We just have to go forward. And one of the ways we have to go forward is to crush this virus, which has a disproportionate impact on many poor people in our country, people of color, and the rest. And so to your question, yes, the Secretary and I continue our conversation. We're about pretty soon ready to put pen to paper. We actually already are making certain proposals in that regard, because if we don't crush the virus, we're never going to be able to open our economy, our schools, and everything safely. Finally, and that when I say finally, I mean in the last couple of days, the administration has agreed to a strategic plan, science-based, well-funded, to take on the virus. This has taken all these months since February, and in our bill since 5 months ago, March 14th. But now we're at a place where they have finally, and again, only the last few days, but nonetheless, I see that as progress. We have other issues that we have to deal with, but we're on a good path.
You've been traveling the country, as you said, for years, as leader, as speaker. And I'm curious what your thoughts are about what John and I were talking about earlier as it pertains, again, to many of my friends, many of my loved ones, people that family members that and people who do anything for me, still supporting Donald Trump 13 days out when he is calling for the arrest of his political challenger, when he's asking his attorney general to do that. And I think you are right. We have to move forward and heal this country, as Abraham Lincoln said in his second inaugural, with malice toward none. But the question is, how did we get to this point where so many people can disregard the Constitution when a guy is talking again about like an Eastern European totalitarian thug who wants to arrest his opponent less than 2 weeks before an election?
Well, you and I have people that we love who will vote for Donald Trump, and it's really hard to understand why. I do think that we have opportunity. I'd rather be looking forward. I hope that the Republicans will take back their party, the grand old party that has meant so much to our country, hijacked by this, I don't know, this phenomenon. You have to give him credit for being a con artist of them to the nth degree. But again, forgetting him and going forward, because in 12 days, 13 days, we'll be on to our future. I don't take anything for granted. I feel confident because we're working so very hard to make sure that that happens. But again, to your point, again, how do we get here? You and I can have that conversation. I mean, I listening to people, and even now through virtually, 3 ways. They preferred him personally to the other person, sadly, for whatever reason. Secondly, they didn't think he was going to win. We didn't think he was going to win. We just make a protest vote and think he was going to win. Or third, I thought he'd be a decent president. I thought he would rise to the occasion. It didn't work. And our country has paid a big price for this. But again, looking forward, Republicans, how courageous so many are to come out for Joe Biden, how strong some are who may be helpful in the transition, shall we say. And then again, we have to be talking to each other about how we go forward. And what better cause to get, well, it's a horrible cause, but what more important reason than to stop a pandemic and to stop it in a way that is fair. You know, one of the fights that we had with the Republicans is they took out all of the language that addressed minorities in the bill. Now, if you are a Black child, you are 5 times more likely to go to the hospital with COVID than a white child. If you're an Hispanic child, you're 8 times more likely to go to the hospital with COVID. Again, more people have died, people of color have died than white people of it. And that's because we did not make what we had to do in testing, tracing, treatment, mask wearing, sanitation, separation, and the rest of that science told us from the start would stop the spread of this. And we have to, again, crush that. And that's something that could bring us together when we have leadership in the White House instead of it's a hoax of this, that. Now, again, you know and I know that when a president speaks, people listen. They think he knows something, especially if they voted for him. He must be right? Or I'm wrong. I have bad judgment if he's not right. So in terms of themselves, that they're protecting their own judgment that they made. But again, when he speaks and says this, it's a comfort to know that this isn't spreading, that you don't have to wear a mask or any of that, but it's false.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.